because I pretty much vlogged it all from the day I met him. Hey girl, part 2, what happened with Ankh. Now I'm gonna skip over some stuff because I pretty much vlogged it all from the day I met him to me looking for him, helping him get a hotel. Part 2, what happened with Ankh. Now I'm gonna skip over some stuff because I pretty much vlogged it all from the day I met him to me looking for him, helping him get a hotel, all of that. It's all there. So if you've never seen it, just go to my Ankh and I playlist. Start from January 31st, the day I met him. But put yourself in my shoes. Imagine you innocently posted a video and it ended up getting all this crazy attention that you're not used to. But then you got a lot of people trying to interview you. A lot of local news stations, national shows trying to interview. It was a lot of people that were coming at me. So if you don't remember, my first news interview I ever did was Fox 5 News. They ended up highlighting the story. It was a good thing. Fast forward, I ended up committed to a TV show that wanted to do my first national interview. A very exciting experience. I went to LA. I filmed the whole day. And they're like, yes, Sanai, thank you so much for coming. We're going to air it in a few days. So I was in LA probably for 2 days. When I got back from LA, I literally got a call from the producer. And she was like, hey, are you home? I'm like, no, I'm not home. Oh, okay, give me a call when we make it home. I get home, hop on the phone with her. She's like, we're going to put our show attorney on the line. I'm like, attorney? Fast forward. The attorney hops on the phone and she was like, hey, Sanai, we really appreciate coming on the show, but unfortunately we cannot air it due to Alonzo's criminal history. We did some digging and research and we just cannot air it. And I get it. Like, I guess it just doesn't work with their brand. So they no longer aired it. When they told me we cannot air it because of his criminal history, that's when I found out he had a criminal history. And I was caught off guard. Literally, after I got off the phone with the producers of that show, Fox 5 literally calls my phone and it's just like, hey, Sanai, do you have a statement? Are you aware of Alonzo's criminal history? And I'm like, what's going on? I literally just landed back in DC from LA and I'm so confused. Oh yeah, we have an exclusive with the lady and she's coming forward and we're going to air at 9 p.m. and she's saying that Alonzo abused her. Do you have a comment? I'm just like, what is going on? So I ended up making no comment because I didn't know. I just found out about this and I'm like, what's going on? Part 2, what happened? Part 3, what happened with Ankh. So obviously Fox 5 aired it. It's circulating on social media and the situation went from being positive to negative real quick. My parents didn't feel comfortable with me being in DC by myself with no family out there. So they're like, honestly, either come back home or go to New York like you were originally planning to. So we're going to pause the story here. At this point, when all this was happening, Alonzo has been in his hotel for almost a week and it was time for him to check out. I so happened to get in contact with the Hilton. The Hilton reached out. They're like, hey, we want to help. How can we help? I already told them that he was already placed in a hotel, but it was only for a week. So I asked them if it was okay to switch into one of their hotels after his reservation ends. Fast forward, current. So as I'm planning to go back to New York, it's basically almost time for Alonzo to check out. So obviously I have no car in DC. One of my friends helped me out. We went to go get Alonzo, check out, grab his stuff, and we switched him from the Holiday Inn, which I placed him in, to the Hilton. So the Hilton hooked him up. It was a very nice suite. I vlogged in all that. And yeah, he's in a new hotel. I have a peace of mind that he'll be good. And I didn't leave him to New York without making sure that his stay was set. Backstory, once again, y'all remember when I took him to Target and I vlogged it? I spent over $1,000 that day, but 200 out of that 1,000 were Visa gift cards. I already got him clothes, necessities, a stay, a phone up to a year. The only thing he really needs to worry about is what to eat. So that's why I got him the Visa gift cards. I told him, hey, this is for you when you need something to eat. Spend responsibly until we're able to give you your money and work it all out. Okay, cool, no problem. So when we switched him to the Hilton, I asked him before leaving to New York, how much money do you have on your gift cards? Because I just wanted to make sure he had enough to eat. Oh, I think I got like $180. Oh, okay, cool. It's been about a week. It seems like you spend it responsibly. Okay, well, maybe that should last you until I get back. Yeah, no problem. So I ended up going to New York, doing my thing, come back for part 4. Part 3, what happened with Ankh. Part 4, what happened with Ankh. So at this point, I'm in New York. Every day, we'll check in with each other on the phone. Hey, everything's good? Yeah, everything's good. Cool, okay. The 4th day of me being in New York was a Tuesday. I remember we hopped on the phone. We're checking with each other. Hey, everything good? Yeah, everything's good. I'm just doing this and that. Okay, cool. He was telling me how he was working out, like, all this stuff. And I'm like, that sounds good. Also, we should probably get you on the alkaline diet. Make sure you eat healthier. Oh, yeah. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. And then I'm like, also, you need to get your ID. Make sure you get your ID. Go to the church. Because I told him in private, you got to go to this church. They're going to help you apply for your birth certificate, your ID, and your social card. And they'll pay for it. All he had to do was go to the church and apply. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go there. And then after that, towards the end of the call, I'm like, oh, by the way, how much do you have on those cards? Because remember, 4 days ago, it was $180. He says, oh, niece, I didn't want you to be mad at me, but I got $2 on the card. I'm like, damn, we went from $180 to $2? What'd you get? Like, I get it nowadays, like, stuff be costing a lot or whatnot, but this is my own money. I don't have that much of my own money. I'm just in college. So I said, hey, Ankh, I'm in New York. Let me figure it out to see how I can get you more money because I wanted to make sure he eats. So I said, in the meantime, make sure you just take care of your business of going get an ID and all that. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I ended up hitting up my friend. Shout out to my friend for being so helpful. I'm like, hey, I'm in New York. I try to reload his gift card balances. It won't let me. Can you go purchase a new gift card for him? Yeah, I'm gonna go do that. My friend ended up getting super busy that day. He couldn't do it. Part 4, what happened with Ankh. So at this point, I'm in Part 5, what happened with Ankh. So I talked to him that Tuesday. Wednesday comes. I call him. He doesn't pick up. I'm like, okay, maybe he's busy or whatnot. The whole Wednesday goes. He never ended up hitting me back. Thursday comes. I call him a few times. He would not pick up. So I'm like, what's going on? This is unusual because normally he would answer my phone or call me back immediately. So at this point, I call the hotel directly. I'm like, hey, can you transfer me to such and such room? Every time they would transfer me, he would not pick up. I would have to call him and be like, hey, have you guys seen him? And they're like, no, we haven't seen him, just whatever. So at this point, I'm stressed. I'm like, I'm all in New York and I don't know if this man is okay. So it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I didn't hear from him, right? Friday comes. The same friend I asked to go get him a gift card ended up not being available until that day. He's like, hey, I'm sorry, I got busy with work these past few days. I could go get him a gift card now. How much do you want on it? What kind of gift card? I'm like, oh, hey, go get a Visa gift card, put $150 on it. I paid for it. I sent my friend the money immediately. My friend goes to his hotel. He's a police officer, so the hotel people already let him up to the room. He goes to the room. The room is neat. He left his phone there according to him. He's like, what you want me to do? You want me to leave the gift card here? Like, what you want? I said, hey, yeah, that's mine. Go ahead and leave the gift card there, but write a note telling him to give me a call because I've been trying to get a hold of him. So my friend writes a note, hey, this is a new gift card. It has $150 on it. Give somebody a call when you can. And my friend leaves the gift card. He took a picture for me to see, and he went on about his business. So after that, the rest of Friday, never ended up getting a call from him. Saturday comes, never got a call from him either. And I'm stressed about it. I'm like, do I have to cut my trip short? What do I have to do? So actually, there was this lady that was in DC, and I don't know, some of you guys remember that video, that lady filming him and asking questions, but that was me knowing he was okay. So I knew he was out and about and okay. So I'm like, okay, maybe I don't have to cut my trip short because it seems like he's okay. Part 5, what happened with Unc. So I talked to him that I'm not gonna lie, y'all are kind of making me regret to even wanted to tell what happened to Unc. Part 6. So at this point, I left New York, came back to DC, still have not been in contact with him. I would say 2 days of me being back at home, I get a call from his uncle. Never talked to this man a day in my life. And let's just say his uncle's name James, because I don't want to put real names out there. Uncle James calls me, hey Sanai, this is Alonzo uncle. So what happened was he broke his phone and he needs a new phone today. I'm like, well, where's Alonzo? He's like, oh, Alonzo's right here. Oh, okay, can I please speak to Alonzo? Sure, no problem, Sanai. As he's passing the phone to Alonzo, they speak in a weird code. It was just like abnormal. I'm like, that sounds like fishy. Instead of just saying, oh, hey, it's niece, hey, it's nice night, it was like, oh, this is like, it was so weird. So when Alonzo hopped on the phone, oh, hey, niece, oh, hey, Unc, I have not talked to you in a week. What's going on? Oh, what happened was when I was washing my clothes, I left the phone in the pocket and yeah, water damage, so my phone doesn't work anymore. Oh, damn, Unc. Okay, no problem. We'll just probably trade your phone out since it's still under the warranty. I'll be here in a few days to grab the phone. Okay, cool, no problem. Again, I'm checking in. Did you get your ID yet? It's an excuse every time behind the ID. Oh, yeah, they messed up again or da-da-da. So boom, the day I was supposed to go see him comes. I go to the hotel and he's not there. So obviously the room is under my name. I have the key. I'm like trying to look for the phone and the phone's not there. So I ended up deciding to go get him some food at the grocery store across the street. So that's when I restocked his fridge. I made a TikTok about it. And then I let them know, hey, Unc, stop by, restock your fridge and also came to get your phone, but you weren't here, couldn't find it. I'll be back in a few days to grab it. Just leave it in the box. So he ended up calling me from the hotel phone. Oh, hey, I got your note. Yeah, da-da-da. So we're gonna talk. And I'm like, yeah, just leave it in the box and I'll be there in a few days. Oh, okay, no problem. So a few days go by and I'm back. He's there this time. So I'm like, hey, I'm back to pick the phone up. Like, where is it? Oh, you didn't see my note right there? And we looked down and there was a note and it said, be right back, went to go see my PO. And I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. Well, where's the phone? Oh, what happened was I ended up smashing the phone. I was talking to my PO and I got mad and I broke the phone. Oh, okay, so it went from water damage to you breaking the phone, smashing it. Well, do you have the phone? Where's the phone? No, I don't have the phone. I don't have the phone. It's gone. What do you mean it's gone? I told you to leave it in the box so I could trade it out. I don't have the phone. It just wasn't adding up. So I'm just like, okay. So I'm like, well, what's going on with your ID? Did you get your ID like you said you would and it will be here this day? Oh, there's still issues with ID. Every time I asked about the ID, it was an excuse. Oh, either my application's messed up or something. I'm like, Unc, well, I told you I was going to be able to trade it out, but because you don't have nothing physically to give me, I can't get you a new phone because I would just have to buy a whole new phone. So I said, I don't really have a lot of money. When you get your ID and we're able to get your funds from your GoFundMe, then we could do that to go get you a new phone. But in the meantime, if you got to get in contact with me, just use a hotel phone. Okay, cool, no problem, that's fine. So a week goes by. He would like not really call as much anymore, and I get it because he didn't have a phone. So I just wanted to give him his space and let him be his own person and still checking with him. So one of my friends actually ended up being in DC in town. We were on our way to a restaurant. As we were passing this area, I'm like, oh, this is where hotel is at. Can we stop by and see him real quick? I want you to meet him. Oh yeah, come on, let's go. So we go do a random pop-up at Unc's hotel just to stop by and say hello. I go to the front desk. I'm just like, hey, is Unc here? Oh yeah, he's here. So me and my friend ended up going upstairs to his hotel room and he's acting completely weird. He's fanning himself. He's just like acting different, like he's nervous or something. So we're sitting here having a conversation. Keep in mind the shower is running in the background. I'm thinking, if you're having a conversation with us, why is the shower running in the background? He's like, oh, I'm washing my clothes, but that's not adding up because the hotel staff told me that you would go wash your clothes downstairs and ask them for coins. So I peeped that, and then I'm looking at his kitchen, his fridge. He ran out of groceries. I'm like, hey, do you want to go back to the grocery store while I'm here and you can pick out what you want? Oh yeah, let's do that. Keep in mind the shower's still running. I'm like, okay, well, can you go ahead and turn the shower off? Okay, yeah, cool, no problem. Also, I needed to get in contact with his PO because every time I asked about an attorney to help him with his GoFundMe stuff, like help him with the trust and all that, he said that in order for me to get that information, I had to go to his PO. So I'm like, do I have permission to call the PO and get his information? So I call the PO and I'm like, hey, this is Sanai calling in regards. I got permission to get Alonzo's attorney's information. Is that okay if you could pass that along? Oh yeah, like let me do that, such and such. And then the parole officer ends up telling me that he hasn't seen Alonzo in a minute. And I'm thinking, didn't he tell me that he saw him the last time I was here? So boom, I'm peeping. He lied to me that one time. What happened to part 6? So at this point, I left New York, came back to DC, still have not been in contact with him. I would say 2 days of me being back at home. What happened to part 7? So I peeped a lot and I'm just like, okay. So we ended up going downstairs, headed to the grocery store. Keep in mind, he's still on the phone with his parole officer trying to coordinate when they can meet up and do whatever they got to do because that's his business. So as I'm downstairs, one of the hotel staff stops me. Hey, Sanai, can I speak to you for a second? And I'm like, damn, what you got to speak to me for? I'm getting scared because I don't like that tone. So Alonzo's on the side on the phone with his parole officer taking care of his stuff. And then me and the lady go to the side. She said, hey, I just wanted you to know that I've been gone for a few days, but my coworkers brought it to my attention that he's been bringing somebody to his room and you should probably check in on that. And I'm like, really? Like, dang, I never heard of any of that, of course. So I'm like, well, can you describe the person? Like, can you give me more information on it? Oh, I wasn't here, so I really can't. So she goes and grabs her coworker. The coworker comes. She said, yeah, he's been bringing somebody pretty much every day for about a month. And I'm like, well, can you describe the person, what they look like? And she's like, I'm not good with none of that. I really can't. She's telling me stuff, but not really telling me stuff. So at this point, I'm just left confused. So I actually ended up realizing I had an appointment and I didn't have enough time to take him to the grocery store. So I said, hey, Unc, me and my friend will be back. I have an appointment. We'll take you to go grocery shopping later if that's okay with you. And you can go take your shower or whatnot. He's like, okay, cool, fine, no problem. We ended up leaving, going to my appointment, took care of my business. When we got done, my friend was like, oh, we got time now. Should we go back and get Unc some groceries? I'm like, yeah, let's go do that. So we go back to the hotel. The same two ladies I was telling about, whoever he was bringing to his hotel room, was like, oh my God, it's not. If you would have stayed an extra 10 minutes, or if you would have went to the grocery store like you were supposed to, you would have seen who we were talking about. Literally 10 minutes after y'all left, him and that person walked out. And I'm like, really? Then my friend stopped. She's like, that's who was in the shower. That's why the shower was running. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes sense why he was acting like that. It was so weird. So I'm trying to process everything. I'm like, wow, like, dang. But keep in mind, like, the ladies that were explaining to me, whoever they were bringing to his room, were making it seem like it was a bad thing. So in my head, I'm thinking it's a bad thing, you know? So it ended up being super late. I'm like, well, is he here at his hotel room? They're like, no, we could go check. So we went to go check. He wasn't there. There was like stuff all over the room and no, he's not there. So I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. I'll just go ahead and write him a note and say we'll be back tomorrow, because he still don't got the ID. And that's what's holding up this whole process of him getting his money, is the ID. What happened? So I want to take a part. What happened in part A? So obviously I left the note saying that I'll be back tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow comes. Me and my friend, we get up early in the morning. We're like, no, we're not gonna miss him, because obviously Unc is on the go. Wherever he be going, whatever he be doing, he's like never at his hotel every time I pull up. So I want to pull up early before he would go. So we go up to the room. We're in the room. He's not there. And it looks like it was in the same condition that I left it the night before when I left him the other night. Like, he probably never even got my previous note of me saying that I was going to come back tomorrow to take him to get the ID. That's why I was so adamant about the ID. If you see my previous video about me explaining why they won't release the funds, because he needs an ID. That's why I'm like, at this point, I got to take him to go get it myself, because he's probably not going to do it. And he hasn't been doing it. It's been a lie, or who knows? It's been different stories about why he just don't got the freaking ID. So at this point, I'm like, he's not here. Let me just go back downstairs and write him another note. I go downstairs. There's a whole different employee. Hey, can I get a piece of pepper and pen? Yeah, here, no problem. So as I'm writing him a note, the guy stops me. He's like, yeah, are you the person he told me not to let up last week? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, last week he said he was expecting some people and to not let you up. Who? Me, the person whose name is on the room, the person who helped him get the room. I'm the only person that know he stays here. And second, he was expecting me, because I told him I would be back to get the phone. So that really did it for me. I'm just like, wow. I'm writing the letter. Hey, we came by to take you grocery shopping. We came by to get the ID. I guess you weren't here. Please give me a call when you see this letter. At this point, I'm stressed, and everybody basically in my private life sees my stress and how much I'm fighting for him and how much it has been affecting me in my personal life. And I can't really be Sanaa anymore, because I was just so like, that's all I wanted for him, was to just get the housing, get the medical care. That's all I wanted for him. And it's like only so much I can do. Like, I cannot force him to go do certain things. And at the end of the day, he's grown, right? So it got to the point where I'm like, I can't even stress myself no more. I can't even keep calling this hotel every day, having them transfer me to him to check up on him. I can't keep coming up here and then it's just disappointment after disappointment. I probably have to take some time for myself and let him just figure it out. Like, you know, so it was spring break for me. I originally was not going to do anything for spring break. Last minute, I got invited to a trip out of the country. And I was going to go. I'm like, you know, I honestly really need this trip, because I've been stressed out and this would be very nice. I started falling off with my study. I just felt like I wasn't really taking care of Sanaa at that point anymore. So my international trip didn't work out. Last minute, I decided to just go to Miami, because I couldn't even be in DC anymore. And also, I felt guilty about going out of town. I remember telling a few people, like, I don't think I should go out of town. Maybe I should just stay. Maybe he'll call me, or maybe we could take him to go get his ID so we could just get, you know, everything done. Everybody's just like, honey, you've been stressing yourself about it. Go take the trip. You deserve it. You need to just go relax your mind and take care of yourself, because I was not taking care of myself. So I went to Miami. What happened to Unc part 9? I was honestly gonna just go to sleep because I'm very tired, but I really don't want to leave y'all hanging, and I just want to get the story over with. But back to me going to Miami. So I decided to go to Miami, and I'm trying to get last minute accommodations. Now, if you guys remember back when I got in contact with the Hilton and they gave Unc a stay, they also told me from the beginning, when you're ready for your relaxation stay, we're gonna go ahead and give it to you. So at this point, I was ready to use it, and I really needed it. So I ended up getting in contact with the Hilton. I told them, hey, I'm going to Miami by chance. I know this is a little last minute, but can we make some accommodations? They went ahead and made accommodations for me. Shout out to them again, because that was so amazing. I had a great experience in Miami. But when they made the accommodations for me, the guy told me, he said, hey, also, by the way, I know Unc's stay, we're going to cover it up till this day, because we can't go over budget and whatnot, which is totally understandable. Like, they kept extending his stay, because I keep asking, hey, like, we're having issues with the ID, blah, blah, blah. Like, we haven't been able to get any money. Can you guys just allow him to stay? So they kept extending it, man. And it got to the point where they're like, we can't even go over budget anymore. We just gonna have to transfer it to your information and your card, and maybe you can start taking care of it. But we tried our best. And I was just so grateful. I'm like, you guys did more than enough. So as we're trying to coordinate my Miami stuff, he's like, also, I know his stay is gonna end in a week. I'm going to put you in contact with somebody at the hotel so they can get your information and start charging your card, basically. Okay, cool, no problem. So ended up getting accommodations. I go to Miami. I'm doing my thing in Miami, trying to relax, trying just to enjoy myself and explore, because honestly, the last time I've been in Miami, which is a year ago, I had a terrible experience, but my second time was better. I would say probably 3-4 days into me being in Miami, I get invited on a yacht. One of my friends invited me on the yacht. And I just got there and I'm like, wow, this is nice. Never been on a yacht in Miami. This is cool. So probably me being an hour on a yacht, I get a call from Uncle James. Uncle James calls me and he's just like, hey, tonight, it's Uncle James, just calling you about Alonzo, blah, blah, blah. And he just starts venting about Alonzo. And he's just like, honestly, this is what happened. I'm getting to the point where me and my wife don't even want to help him anymore. He's basically taking their kindness for weakness and they trying to help him as well. But, you know, Alonzo just really doesn't want the help. So as Uncle's venting me and sharing me like other stuff he had going on with Alonzo, I started to relate to him. I'm like, wow, that's crazy you're saying this because I'm starting to feel the same way. So it ended up being like a heart to heart between me and the uncle and I'm crying. He's just like, I know, baby, like you did your part. You really went above and beyond for him. Like, you know, and I'm so proud of you, but this is becoming too much for both of us. Then come to find out during that phone call, he let me know that Alonzo checked out of that hotel a week early. So I'm already in Miami and I found out that he checked out. Didn't say nothing to me. The only way I was able to get in contact with him is if I pull up to the hotel, if I call the hotel directly and get transferred to him. So I'm like, where could he go? What happened to Unc part 9? I was honestly, what happened to Unc part 10? So I went through the rest of the Miami trip. After coming back to DC from Miami, I immediately shifted into a whole depression. Like this whole situation really took a big toll on my mental health because for one, I just found out he checked out of his hotel a week early. He doesn't have a phone. I don't really know anybody that can help me get in contact with him. So I'm stressed about it because I feel like I'm back at square one with him. And for two, it's been 3 months at this point and I haven't been able to deliver any results to you guys. I was so hard on that because all I wanted was to help him and show you guys, hey, look, we did it. And I just shifted in a whole depression. I remember crying in my room in private. I mean, I would go MIA. My parents wouldn't even be able to get a hold of me at times and I'm all the way in DC by myself. Like everybody's concerned. They're like, what's going on with you? That thing took a toll because I'm trying to process everything and the timeline and everything. So I deactivated my TikTok. I know a lot of people started coming to my Instagram like, hey, what happened to your TikTok? Like what's going on? And I'm just like going through it. And I just really didn't know what to do at this point. I felt helpless. I didn't know like, how do I move forward from here? I also felt discouraged because I knew my time in DC was coming to an end and it just felt like I was just on a deadline to get him help. Like I only had a few weeks left there and I wasn't able to make no progress. Like I remember praying so hard about it, journaling about it, just trying to, you know, get myself back together. But I even went out to go look for him in that same area like I know he's most likely in. And I haven't been able to run into him. Like, I haven't really heard from him. I would say from the time I came back from Miami, which was back in March up to now, he has probably called me 2 times during these past few months. And those 2 times he has called me, he would say, oh, I miss you, Needs, I love you, and blah, blah, blah. And then he was telling me that, you know, he's staying at a church or whatnot. I'm like, look, this is why I was trying to tell you to get your ID so you didn't have to go on the streets or have to go into church, but I can afford it, like, continue to pay for it. Like, this is why I told you to get your ID. He's like, I know. So I'm like, you know, when you get your ID, then we'll be able to, like, do everything. So after that conversation I had with him, I haven't heard from him since. What happened to Unc part 10? So I went through the rest. What happened to Unc part 11? So I haven't heard from him since, and I just got to the point where I can't keep stressing myself out. So I literally made it my mission to just get my mental health right, go back to finishing school strong, and just work on everything that I literally put to the side for him. I'm the type of person when I'm committed to something, I'm committed to it, and I like to do one thing at a time. So I remember months ago, everybody was like, you should do a nonprofit, this is your calling. I wanted to do it, but I had to put it to the side because I was dealing with this situation. I was kind of falling off of school a little bit. It was a lot that I put to the side for him. So it got to the point where I just wanted to get back to it and just start pouring back into Sinai and taking care of myself and my business. So actually last month, I don't know if you guys remember when I went to Arizona, I shared you guys that little itinerary my godbrother made me, but I went to Arizona just to get away from DC a little bit, but also visit some family. And as I'm in Arizona exploring, I get a random phone call from a PO, but it's not the same original PO that I've been in contact with a few times. It's a new person and it's a lady and she's like, hey, my name is da-da-da. I'm Alonzo's new PO. The case got transferred to me. And basically I'm trying to locate him and contact people. I don't know how she got my contact information, but she just asked me, have I spoken to him or seen him? And I'm like, no, I haven't. It's been some time. So at this point, she's like, okay, well, thanks for letting me know. Keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, she's just sharing that she's going through this whole protocol of trying to locate him because technically he's missing at this point. Nobody knows where he's at. So she's like, I'll update you and whatnot. But, you know, my hopes is to be able to locate him because if I'm not able to locate him, then we might have to escalate it and like issue a warrant or like whatever. And I'm just like, okay. So fast forward, I get back to DC from Arizona. And at this point, I'm just trying to explore a little bit more DC before I go. Throughout my time in DC, I didn't really get to enjoy it or explore as much because I was just so invested in trying to, you know, help him that as a result, I stopped working at my internship. I wasn't able to give it my all anymore behind this whole situation. Like the Unc thing literally turned into like my own internship. So I stopped working at my internship. I didn't get to really experience that, which was unfortunate. I didn't really get to experience the city as a result. So I was just trying to make a best of like basically my last 2 weeks here. So that's why I made that video saying like, hey guys, it's my last day here. I'm about to move back. Like I was just going through all this in private, but I also wanted to share that, you know, I'm not going to be in DC anymore. So even before